Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So got to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops and elders of Great Millstone who will, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all Israel, already concepted or not. In a sincere salutation called our pushing the truth and believing this truth like the four winds of the earth, the entire world waking up the hope for the elect, and shalom to the outwalk who are listening and learning. If you sisters who are listening and learning, I'm Isaiah from GMS Solano Camp coming at you another lesson. In truth, facts, faith, and edification, on the day of edification, you'll always be edified. So I titled this lesson, The Vision is Growing. The vision is growing in the world. The Lord is making a separation between the just and the wicked. So I just got a few precepts I want to read dealing with this. Because the vision is growing. And these all these rappers and these actors, the Lord is making a separation. And even though we know they ain't gonna choose righteousness, we already know it. But you see, everybody's making a stand. This is the hopeful elect, and then you got the zealots and everybody else. You got all these different uproars of the people, and it's because of this truth, man. So I was reading this in Matthew 13, and it reads, this is Matthew 13 and 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, which the sea is the people, and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. Now you look at this word wicked, I mean the word sever.
Strong's G 873. Afaridzo. Afaridzo.
See, it say to separate, divide, sever. It say to mark off from others by boundaries, to limit, to separate. It say they got in the bad sense to exclude as disreputable. Disreputable. In a good sense, to appoint, set apart for some purpose. And the purpose that the Lord is setting apart, the hopeful elect, these are the ones that are going to get salvation. Right? You got the first fruits in the kingdom. They say to set off by boundary, i.e., limit, exclude, appoint, divide, separate, sever. So this word sever in Matthew 13 and 49, it says, so it shall be at the end of the world, the angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. Now to understand, you got to go here. Let's get this Leviticus. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me get this first. The Lord making a separation. This is Luke 12 and 51, it reads. Luke 12 and 51 reads, and this is the Messiah speaking, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division. Right? So this truth is bringing division in the earth, man. Let's get this.
Strong's G 1267. Diameris mas. Diameris mas.
So let's look at this word. Division. It say pardon, distribution. It say it's got division, disunion. Let me see what this say. To cleave asunder, cut in pieces, to be divided into opposing parts, to be at variance. So, divide, part, to petition. It say thoroughly. So let's get this. Let's go back. So the Lord said he's come to, suppose ye that I'm come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house, divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. And this is among your family members. So how much more the rest of the world? The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Let me get this in Matthew. It's Matthew 10 and 35, it reads. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother. And you would say, why would the Lord do this if he's all loving? Why would the Lord set a father against the son and a daughter against the mother? What does it tell you in Jeremiah 3 and 14? He will take one of a city and 2 of a family. But I'm coming to set a man at variance against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household, right? So that word sever, that was in Matthew 13 and 49. This is Leviticus. And 26. Well, the Lord said this already in the beginning, man, that we're supposed to be severed from the rest of these people. This is Leviticus 20 and 26, it reads, and ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people that you should be mine. Right? Let's get this word here, severed.
Strong's H 914. Batal. Batal.
See? Same thing as say in Matthew 13 and 49. Separate, divide, difference, asunder, sever out, separation. Why is the Lord doing this? To divide, separate, sever, set apart, to make a distinction, to divide in parts. Well, what it says Zechariah 13, 1/3 and a 2/3, right? Separate, sever, difference, divide, distinguish. This is the separation of the whole elect and the 2/3. Now, even in that, this is Romans. So you got guys that are going to mention things, but they ain't going to fully come to the truth because the Lord didn't call them to do that. But even in Israel, there's a separation. But then we finna get the separation of the nations. This Romans 11 and 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. When you go to Romans 9, as a matter of fact, no, I'll just do it here. It's Romans chapter 9, in verse 7, it reads, in Romans 9 and 6, it say, not as though the word of power have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Why? Right here, Romans 10. Romans 10 reads, brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to power for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. Kanye got a zeal for the Lord. It's not according to knowledge. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness. Or what's his other guy name? I did a video on these guys a little while ago. What's this guy that be on Nick Cannon's show? I forgot the slim guy name. Anyway, they had this little show. The guys that be on Nick Cannon wilding out. I can't think of the guy's name. There's a couple of them that was on this little show they did, talking about Hebrew Israelites and the Moors and all this. It said, for they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yahweh Shema Shah. And they can't, because they got that bag, man. So they ain't gonna do it. So even in the midst of Israel, you got 2/3 and the 1/3. Because they ain't finna stand in great boldness for this truth. They're not finna give up that bag to teach this truth. Not as though the word of God have taken none effect, but they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. So even though they Israelites, that's far as it's gonna go, man. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black. That's far as it's gonna go. That's it. And even that has been taken away because Esau done threatened to take that bag away. This is in Deuteronomy 32. And that's why these Christians don't want to deal with these scriptures, man. And they ain't. Because they can't. Because if we deal with the scriptures, with these devils, it only takes 1 or 2 verses to prove that who the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and West Indians and Haitians is, and who the so-called white man is not. It's Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, why would the Lord separate the sons of Adam if everybody can be saved? Is he just separating them? Just to be separating them? No. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. Why would the Lord do a separation? If we all, this guy, this Edomite came to camp and said, we all the same. And he said, ain't we all the same? And we had to explain to him, no, we are not all the same, man. When you go to Deuteronomy 4, let's get this. In Deuteronomy 4th chapter, this is the separation between Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and the other nations, man. Here is the separation right here. Let's read one. Israel urged to obey God's laws. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord power of your fathers give you. Ye shall not add unto my words, unto the words which I command you, neither shall you diminish out from them. And that's going on today in Israel, man. Okay, you got guys talking about Yahweh shouldn't do no miracles. You can sleep with your woman on the Sabbath. You can pop your woman in the back, right? John the Baptist went in the truth. Yahweh shouldn't do miracles. It's a lot. That's just a couple of things. It say, ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish out from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh, your power, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, hath destroyed them from among you. Right, you go read that in Numbers 25. But ye that did cleave unto Yahweh, your power are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye shall do so in the land whether ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Here is the separation, which ye shall hear. It say, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, whom have God so now unto them, as Yahweh our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? Verse 9. Only take heed to thyself, and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. Right? In Leviticus 26 and 46. The separation is the Lord gave you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians his laws, statutes, and commandments. And the heathens he did not. Leviticus 26 and 46 reads, these are the statutes and judgments and laws which Yahweh made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. So that's the separation, man. And even when we was in Egypt, let's get this. It's Exodus 11:7. It reads, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord Yahweh doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Even Pharaoh told the Hebrew midwives, if the Hebrew women have sons, to kill them. Right? But if the Hebrew women had daughters, to let them stay alive. The Lord put a difference. When we was in Egypt, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, we built those pyramids in Egypt, man. You got these people talking about the aliens and all this other. No, we built those pyramids, man. The Lord say, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that Yahweh doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. We're not Africans. The so-called Africans, these are the sons of Ham. We don't come from Noah's youngest son Ham. We come from Noah's oldest son Shem. The Lord said he put a difference between the Egyptians, which one of the nations of the Hamites, and Israel. There's a difference, man. So let's get this. Oh, matter of fact, let me pull this. And the separation that the Lord got going on now is the just, is severing the just from the wicked, man. Let's get this. And let me get Sirach real quick. And that's why it's a lot of uproar going on. But we know 2/3 of our people, even though they you got guys like Kendrick Lamar and Kanye and Kodak Black and Chingy. Chingy talking about he from the tribe of Judah. What's this guy name that's with Gucci Man? Waka Flocka talking about he from the tribe of Reuben. Them niggas ain't finna let that money go, man. Whether it's a little bit of money or a lot of bit, man. This is Sirach 17 and 17. It reads, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. You see, in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the lowest portion. Let's get this. In Sirach 32 or 33, this is the same thing I just read in Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Lord separated the sons of Adam, right? What I just read in Deuteronomy 32 and 8. This is Ecclesiastes 33 and 10. It reads, and all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge, the Lord hath divided them and made their ways diverse. Why would the Lord do this? Some of them have he blessed and exalted, and some of them have he sanctified. The word sanctified means to be set apart. It means to be severed, a division. But it says some of them have he blessed and exalted, and some of them have he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them have he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. There's a cursed nation on the earth. Now the Hebrew Israelites, we under the curses, but the Lord cursed an entire nation, and they got leprosy. That's why they got different shades of red and pink, because their blood showed forth through their skin. It reads, verse 13, as the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to him as liking him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death, so is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there is 2 and 2, one against another. Who is this? This is about Esau and Jacob, man. This whole movie, this whole Bible is about Esau and Jacob, man. The other 16 heathen nations is just extras in the movie, man. Collateral damage and casualties of war, man. This is about Esau and Jacob. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. Now let's get this. Also in Ecclesiastes, what's that? Let's get this one first. In 13, right? In verse 15. It reads this. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorted according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like, the hopeful elect. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb, so the sinner with the godly? What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? There's a separation between who? The good and the evil. The Lord made 2 and 2, one against another. So here is a separation between the Israelites and other heathen nations, and between Israel and Israel, man. The Lord is a separatist. So let's get this one. This is Ecclesiastes 27. In verse 9. It reads, the birds, don't it tell us that we birds in Jeremiah 12 and 9? My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, right? The birds will resort unto their like, so will truth return unto them that practice in her. So this is about the hopeful elect, man. Oh, let me get this. Let me go back to this blue letter. Because in Proverbs 29, let's get this. I think it's Proverbs 29, if I ain't mistaken. Right. So it's Proverbs 29 and 27, it reads, an unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. So remember, it said in Ecclesiastes 33, the Lord made, let me get it from the phone. The Lord made 2 and 2, one against another, right? So that's a separation, man. Let me get it here. So Ecclesiastes 33 in verse 15 to read. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against, verse 14. It say, good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. And we know this talking about Israel, right? Because nobody can see him but Israelites. But the separation is the Lord said 2/3 of his people are become wicked. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. That's a separation, man. This ain't like you can't add to this or take away. There's a separation, and the Lord is making a division in the earth, man. Now, let's get this. Because it said, what fellowship have a hyena with a dog, right? In 2 Corinthians. And though these guys partially is talking about Israel, they ain't giving the full understanding, man. 2 Corinthians 6:14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? There is no fellowship, man. And what communion have light with darkness? And what concord have a Mashiach with Belial? Or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separated, and be ye separate, saith Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So anything outside of this truth is unclean, man. What's that? Let me get this. 1 Corinthians. And you got guys that want to add and take away, but the scriptures say what they say, man. This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Now, King David said, dealing with Israel, right? We're dealing with Israel. Psalms 55 in verse 11. This is what King David said about Jake in the land of Israel. It say verse 10. It's a day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. In the midst of what? Israel, Jerusalem. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. It was neither, Salakia, neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man, my equal, my guide, and my acquaintance. This is talking about the Israelite, man. It say, show you talking about Israel. Verse 14 reads, we took sweet counsel together. A lot of brothers came in the truth together. Right? Brothers came in, brothers left. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of God in company, man. Can't no heathens walk with you to the house of the Lord, man. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of power in company. Let death seize upon them and let them go down quick into hell. For wickedness is in their dwellings and among them. This is King David talking about Jake, man. Let's get this one. That's why I tell you, what is that, Titus 1? What is that, Psalm 69? In Titus 1, man, talk about these wicked Jakes, man, who subvert whole houses, man, who teach things which they ought not for filthy lucre. So it was just saying in 2 Corinthians, right? I mean, yeah, 1 Corinthians 10, you can't drink from the table of the Lord and the table from devils. This is Psalm 69:22. It reads, let that table become a snare before them, and that which have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. What table is this? King David said it. Let's get it right here. To this table is this truth, man, in the presence of our enemies, man. It's Psalms 23. It reads right here. I want to read the point. It's Psalms 23:5. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. So here is the Lord preparing this table, this truth, for the hopeful elect in the presence of our enemies. And you got 2/3 that's already like they worse than the enemy, man. That's why the Lord said this. In Isaiah 28. But King David said, let that table become a snare before them, right? And now in Psalm 69. So this is Isaiah 28:7. That's why the Lord making a separation, man. That all Israel can't come home this time, man. 2/3 got to down this side. Because these niggas done sold out, man. And you got low-level niggas that done sold out, man. Isaiah 28:7, the Lord say, but they also had air through wine, and though it's saying through strong drink are out of the way. This ain't talking about no Merlot and tequila, man. Okay? This ain't talking about sweet red and Patron, man. But they also have air through wine and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have air through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit. So when King David said, let that table become a snare before them. So this truth is a snare to 2/3 of our people, man. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Now, this wine and strong drink is not talking about wine and strong drink. This is Isaiah 29 in verse 9. This is why there's a separation, man. And all Israel ain't gonna come together. All you Jake tell me why all Israel can't come together, because they teaching different doctrines, man. I'm sorry. There's only one doctrine. Everybody else is teaching the precepts of men. Isaiah 29:9 reads, stay yourselves in wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. What is it? What are they drunk with then? What are they staggering with? This is Colossians 2:8. It reads, be well as any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach. So you got your favorite camps, you Jace, your favorite Israelite camps, they are following the rudiments of the world. In Isaiah 28, because you always had Jake that sold out for the money. has always been Jake that sold out for the money. So here it is. They're following the rudiments of the world, the tradition of men. Isaiah 28:15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. So 2/3 of our people are following the tradition of men. This is Mark 7:6. It reads. That's why the Lord making separation, man. He answered and said unto them, well have Isaiah prophesied to you hypocrites. As is written, these people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Right? You got a lot of guys calling on Yahweh Shema Shah. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. All you getting over here is sound doctrine. You don't want to accept it? Oh well. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, full well, you reject the commandments of God, that you may keep your own traditions. You see? We telling you that the Lord is waking up our people through the unicorn, man, the internet. Oh, let me get this. I gotta go back to the Apocrypha real quick. I just want to make some points on this, man. The Lord has a separation in the earth, man. And it's gonna be like this until Yahweh shall return. This is Sirach 37 in verse 12 it reads. It say, but be thou continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. Verse 13, and let the counsel of thy own heart stand, for there is no man more faithful unto thee than it. So this is the Lord separating. This is the Lord separating the just from the unjust, man. The just from the wicked. He's severing. Because what as it said in 2 Corinthians 6, what communion have wickedness with righteousness, man? You know what? Since I'm here, let me just use this. I just use this here. Let's just use this app. So let's get Matthew. Might as well use to keep flopping. Let's go to Matthew 25. So Matthew 25 and 31. It reads this. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations. Now hold on. Why is the Lord going to gather all nations? Because Israel have been scattered amongst all these nations, man. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another. If everybody gonna be saved like Christianity say, wouldn't the Lord just come? Won't this verse just say, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and everybody shall be saved. Right? It said, before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another. Why? Because the Lord separated us from the beginning, man. As a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Now, I was talking to this chick one time, some months ago, and she said, oh, the sheep is all the righteous people. Everybody out of all nations. No, no, that's not what the scriptures say. Hold on. Let's come back to this. In Matthew, of course, she is a Jehovah Witness, right? She's a Jehovah Witness, a bug out loser, and they selling a lot of their Kingdom Halls too. A lot of those Kingdom Halls for Jehovah Witnesses is for sale. This is Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? The Lord said he is not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So going back to Matthew 25, it said he's going to set the sheep on his right hand. Hold on. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let's get one more to back that up. Matthew 10:5, it reads, Matthew 10:5 reads, These 12 Yahweh shall send forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? That's plain. You don't need no extra. It's plain. The Lord is a separatist, man. And even though you don't want to believe it, it's true. So back in Matthew 25 and 31 again, it reads, When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. From the foundation of the world, man. From the beginning, as we went and read in Deuteronomy 32:8, when the Lord divided to the nation, when he separated the sons of Adam. Right? This is plain, man. So, I was just thinking about this. I want to make some points on it, even though it has been done over and over. Let me get this. And when you go to Ezekiel, let me get this. See if I can find this real quick. Ezekiel 34. So this is Ezekiel 34, right? In verse 11, it say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will both search my sheep and seek them out. As a shepherd seeketh out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep, and I will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the dark, in the cloudy and dark day. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries, and will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel, by the rivers, and in all inhabited places of the country. You see that? Now, when you go to let me see if I can get this real quick in Luke, because Yahweh said the same thing Yahweh said right here. Let's get it. In Luke, I think it's Luke 19, if I'm mistaken. Right here. This is Luke 19:10. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. What was lost? The sheep, man. The sheep. So Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Bahashim Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone, who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And the sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world. We don't the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Agwa for listening and learning. If you sisters for listening and learning, Lord was edifying. Till next time I say shalom. Wa Abu Ball for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Hey, beautiful precept right here. This is from the brother Bayan Yashala. This is Amos 9 and 9. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. This should be plain to anybody, man. And if not, it doesn't matter, man. The hopeful elect know what's going on. So again, the wife for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue blessing your houses. Stay prayed up. Hey, the water for the precepts.